Development funding for Baltimore 100 Years was provided by the Dr. Francis P. Chiaramonte Family Foundation. At the turn of the 20th century, Baltimore was one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. The population exploded from just over 500,000 in 1900 to over 730,000 by 1920, as European immigrants and migrants from the South flocked to work in the city's factories and manufacturing centers. The rapid expansion created fierce competition for jobs and housing, resulting in Baltimore's ratification of the first laws of its kind in the history of the United States.
The Baltimore City Council passed a law which mandated segregation in housing. What it said was that blacks couldn't move into white neighborhoods, and also said that whites couldn't move into black neighborhoods. And it's passed in 1910, and the law was copied by other cities. Then the Supreme Court in 1917 declared it unconstitutional. The end result is that even though the law was void, the practices of the realtors and community associations was to maintain segregation.
The end of World War I in late 1918 coincided with a global pandemic that lasted into the next decade. The Spanish flu killed nearly 50 million people across the world, including more than 500,000 in the United States. The end of the decade brought with it major changes to the laws, culture, and everyday lives of citizens across the country. And Baltimore, Maryland, like most American cities, faced an uncertain future.
There is a definite connection between the 18th Amendment and the 19th Amendment. Those who supported Prohibition often were the ones who were also advocating for women's suffrage and the right to vote. By the time we get to the early 1920s, culture starts to change. The jazz age comes about. The flappers emerge, the speakeasies, this whole underground culture. Baltimore, during Prohibition, played a major role, I would say, on the national scene. Maryland becomes the first state that does not pass what's called a Baby Volstead Act. Baltimore is utterly defiant. H.L. Mencken himself really kind of makes his mark with his vehement defiance against Prohibition. Prohibition talks about wets and dries. Wets are against Prohibition, dries are for Prohibition. Baltimore is a thoroughly wet city. Americans were consuming 39 gallons per year of alcohol on average, which is a pretty significant amount of alcohol per year.